A hungry mother's plea for her kids turned into the manager's cruel outburst. Hunger has a sound, and that night it echoed louder than traffic or rain. It was the hollow cry of empty stomachs, the kind that steals sleep from children and courage from parents, the kind that forces a mother to step into a place she knows she does not belong and ask for mercy with trembling hands. The glass doors slid open under harsh white lights, and with them opened a moment that would change more lives than anyone inside could imagine. What began as a quiet plea for food would soon explode into a cruel outburst, witnessed by strangers who would never forget the look in her eyes. Before the story continues, take a moment and ask yourself something simple. Do you believe kindness can still change lives, even in places filled with judgment and pride? If you do, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that are still listening. She stood just inside the restaurant, a fast food place glowing with polished counters and bright menu boards. Her clothes were clean but worn thin, washed too many times to hide the years of struggle. Her hair was pulled back tightly, not for style but for control, as if holding herself together depended on it. In her arms she held a small paper bag, empty, crumpled from being folded and unfolded during the long walk there. Outside, in the cold night air, her two children waited on a bench near the window, their faces pressed against the glass, watching the colorful pictures of food they had not tasted in days. This mother had once believed her life would be different. She remembered a time when her kitchen smelled of fresh bread, when laughter filled small rooms, when her children argued over toys instead of hunger. But life had a way of breaking promises slowly, then all at once. Her husband had fallen ill, then gone, leaving behind hospital bills and silence. The job she relied on disappeared when the company downsized. One missed rent payment became two, then an eviction notice taped to a door that no longer felt like home. Shelters were full, relatives exhausted by their own struggles. Pride dissolved faster than hope when children began to cry at night. That evening, she had searched pockets and bags for coins, counting and recounting until the truth was undeniable. She did not have enough for even a single meal. Walking past the glowing restaurant earlier, she told herself she would not go in. She told herself she could find another way. But when her youngest asked why her stomach hurt so much, something inside her cracked. Hunger was no longer just hers to bear. It belonged to her children, and that made all the difference. Inside, the restaurant buzzed with normal life. Teenagers laughed around plastic tables. A tired worker wiped counters mechanically. Orders were called out, bags passed over, money exchanged without thought. No one noticed the mother at first, standing near the counter, fingers gripping the edge as if it were the last solid thing in the world. When she finally spoke, her voice was low, nearly swallowed by the noise. She explained that her children were outside, that they had not eaten, that she was not asking for much, just something small. Leftovers, anything. The manager noticed her then, a man in a pressed uniform with a name badge that shone under the lights. His day had been long, filled with complaints and quotas, with the pressure of keeping order in a place built for speed, not compassion. He saw the woman not as a mother but as a problem, a disruption to the smooth rhythm of sales and service. Her presence made him uncomfortable, reminded him of things he preferred to ignore. Poverty had a way of doing that. What followed was not loud at first. It began with irritation, then annoyance, then something darker. The manager's voice rose, sharp and cutting, drawing attention from every corner of the room. He accused her of begging, of making customers uncomfortable, of trying to get something for free. His words spilled out without restraint, each one heavier than the last. He told her to leave, to take her problems elsewhere, to stop embarrassing herself and the business. The mother felt every word like a slap. Her face burned, not from anger but from shame. She wanted to explain, to tell him she had never done this before, that she had worked hard her whole life, that she was only here because her children were hungry. But her throat closed and no sound came. Around her, conversations fell silent. Forks paused midair. Eyes turned toward the scene, some curious, some uncomfortable, some judgmental. Outside, her children saw the tension through the glass. They did not understand the words, but they understood the tone. Fear crept into their small bodies, the kind that comes when a parent looks helpless. The older one hugged the younger, whispering reassurance she did not fully believe. Inside, the manager continued, his cruelty now a performance, fueled by the attention. He waved his hand toward the door, demanding she leave immediately or he would call security. Time seemed to slow. The mother nodded, not trusting herself to speak. She turned toward the exit, each step heavy with humiliation. She had come in with hope, fragile but alive, and now it lay crushed beneath fluorescent lights. As she reached the door, tears finally spilled, blurring her vision. She did not see the faces behind her, did not notice that some were filled with anger, others with guilt. She only knew that she had failed her children again. But stories rarely end where cruelty begins. Sometimes they pivot in quiet moments, in the hearts of those who witness injustice and choose not to look away. Among the customers that night were people carrying their own burdens, people who had known hunger, loss, and judgment. The manager's outburst had awakened something in them, a shared sense that what had just happened was wrong, deeply wrong. A woman near the window watched the mother reunite with her children, watched the way she tried to smile through tears. That woman remembered her own childhood, nights when dinner was a question mark. A man near the counter clenched his jaw, thinking of his sister, a single mother who had fought similar battles. Even the young worker wiping tables felt a knot in her chest, realizing how thin the line was between stability and disaster. The manager, unaware of the shift in the room, returned to his duties, convinced he had restored order. But the atmosphere had changed. The restaurant felt heavier, as if the walls themselves disapproved. Customers exchanged glances, silent conversations passing between strangers. One by one, small acts of courage began to take shape. Outside, the mother sat on the bench with her children, trying to explain why they were leaving empty-handed. She told them it was okay, that they would figure something out, that tomorrow would be better. Children have a way of seeing through such promises, but they also have a way of trusting the love behind them. They leaned against her, drawing warmth from her body, unaware that eyes inside the restaurant were watching them with new resolve. Change does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it arrives in paper bags filled with food, placed gently on a bench. Sometimes it comes with a hand on a shoulder, a quiet assurance that someone cares. That night, kindness began to ripple outward, stronger than the cruelty that had sparked it. People who had never met the mother felt compelled to act, to restore a piece of dignity that had been stripped away. As the evening wore on, the restaurant returned to its usual rhythm, but something had shifted in the hearts of those present. The manager would remember this night too, though perhaps differently. He would remember the looks he received, the tension he could not explain, the sense that his authority had not brought the satisfaction he expected. Cruelty, after all, leaves its own kind of hunger behind. For the mother, the night became a turning point she could not have predicted. She would remember the pain vividly, but she would also remember the unexpected warmth that followed, the proof that even in moments of deep humiliation, compassion could rise. Her children would remember less of the cruelty and more of the comfort, the feeling of being cared for by strangers when hope seemed gone. If this story is touching something inside you right now, please pause for a moment and let us know. Like the video, share it with others, and comment below if you believe no parent should ever have to beg for food for their children. Your engagement helps keep these stories alive and reminds the world that empathy still matters. The days that followed were not magically easy. Poverty does not disappear overnight, and wounds take time to heal, but something had changed within the mother. She no longer felt completely invisible. She had seen how quickly cruelty could surface, but also how powerfully kindness could respond. That knowledge became a quiet strength, a reminder that she was not alone, even when the road ahead remained uncertain. Her children, fed and safe for the moment, slept more peacefully that night. In their dreams there were no bright lights or angry voices, only warmth and fullness. The mother watched them breathe, feeling both exhaustion and gratitude settle over her like a blanket. She promised herself she would keep going, keep fighting, not just for survival, but for a future where moments like this would become stories of the past. Before we end, we have one special request. Please comment the word kindness below if you believe that a single act of compassion can change a life. Let your voice join others who refuse to accept cruelty as normal. This story is not just about a manager's cruel outburst or a mother's hunger. It is about the fragile space where dignity and desperation meet, and the choices we make when we stand in that space. It asks us who we want to be when someone vulnerable crosses our path. Will we turn them away, or will we see ourselves in their struggle and respond with humanity? If this story touched your heart, please engage with this video now. Like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Your support ensures that stories of pain, resilience, and hope continue to be told, reminding us all that even in the darkest moments, compassion can still light the way.